Today we are busting golf instruction myths during a lesson with Dr. Luke Benoit. Should you keep your lead arm straight? Should you train speed only after you fix your golf swing? Do you need a perfect alignment practice station when you practice? All these best practices that we've heard and we thought that we should be doing, they might be wrong. Let's get into it. All right, you should swing your same swing every time. Myth or truth?
Total myth. Especially when you're young, you want to learn how to swing a lot of different ways, build that skill base, be able to hit balls from any position. The kid that can play hockey and hit a ball here, 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 is gonna be able to hit it more solid. So it's okay to practice wild drills when you're young. And then when it comes to using different clubs, they're also very different swings, aren't they?
Yep, they are. So anytime somebody says swing your driver the same way you swing all your other clubs, they know what they're talking about.
If you're hitting down 5 degrees in your driver, how's it go?
Yeah. Right. All right, myth busted. Don't swing the same way every time.
That was it. That was shanked.
That was pretty good. Okay, you shanked it. You were standing too close to the golf ball. You got to move back.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to tell you a lesson. First year teaching, I had this guy that was like this, pretty close to the ball, shanking it. I had to move further away. Still shanking
Still shanking it.
Still shanking it. I had him here, and he was still shanking it.
He's really good. That is impressive.
So then I started thinking about, like, is impact location more of a skill?
Yeah.
Or is it a byproduct of, like, mechanical stuff going on? Could I fix the shank by abducting my left hip and getting really deep and like feeling my chest go away, all these internal cues? Could I do that?
Okay.
Yes, but it's a dual task. I got to think about that and also hit the toe.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go to now, like if I'm coaching my 8-year-old t-ball team, where every single time, what does he do? He just hits the tee and the ball falls to the ground. What would you tell the 8-year-old?
To like swing over top of the ball.
You know what? It works really well.
Yeah.
And that's how we're built to operate.
Okay.
So solve the problem by using an external cue and not going to internal cues. So whether you're 8, 80, or whatever, do opposite. So here would be a drill to fix impact and go like this.
Huh.
How hard is that?
Yeah.
Is that hard?
No.
Simple.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna see if I can toe shank it. All right, so I'm starting here.
Oh, that's good too.
So if I can heel shank it and toe shank it, guess what? Middle face piece of cake.
That's a myth busted. All right, Luke, should I fix my swing before I speed train?
Absolutely not. If it's hard for you to do it at full speed on the backswing, do some freezers. Set the table properly and then just go bat out of hell.
So should we play one shot shape, Luke? I'm only gonna hit fades all day, every shot? Or should I not? What's the decision?
Absolutely not.
Okay, this is controversial.
It's really controversial. For a lot of developing golfers, like they need to learn the skills to shot shape because you need to be able to recall it when the situation calls for it. Like if you're at Augusta number 10 and you don't have a draw down the hill, it's a huge disadvantage. You watch the guys that are kind of, I call black and white thinkers that only hit fades, they struggle on that tee shot. So you're always doing the math. Is it costing me to do it because I'm uncomfortable and I can't pull it off, more than what the advantages are of the actual strategic advantage?
So let me double down on this.
Yes.
Can I hit it straight then? Or is that gonna max, there's gonna be more misses because I'm trying to hit it straight versus one shot?
Of course not. Is a straight shot easy? No.
Yeah.
Hitting it dead straight with no curve is very hard.
Yeah.
But what's your ideal? Are we talking 8.2 yards of curve? That's really hard too.
Yeah.
So there's no ideal shot. To say that a straight shot is harder than any curve is ridiculous. Is it nice psychologically to maybe have some curve on it? Sure, you could argue that. If you turn your brain into a black and white thinker where like, I'm just gonna hit the same shot every time, guess what? You won't be able to kind of grow your game and develop those skills for when you need them. People that think that way struggle with bias more because they don't understand ball flight. So then they come back for a lesson, which is great for the pro, but oh, it's leaking right today. How do I fix it? For the people that are good at curving it and understand ball flight, they don't have those lessons.
Got it. So give us an idea of like, how do I master this skill then? Or what is the skill I need to learn?
Right, so first of all, just because you're curving it doesn't mean you have to have your body all over the place to create the shot. So when I was young, and probably when you were young, like you learned how to hook it doing this.
Yep.
Okay, so I want you to pretend you're more of a robot to do it and change your alignment. So that's your straight shot setup.
Yep.
Does it make sense?
Yep.
Now for a fade, I want you to pretend you're hitting a straight shot through my legs here.
Okay.
Dead straight.
Yep.
Okay. Now all you're gonna do is open the face a little bit and then re-grip it so it feels normal. All you have to do theoretically from there is do your exact same swing and the ball's gonna curve left to right. You don't need to have all this athletic stuff to do it.
Got it. Because when growing up, like you said, it was like, okay, so if I'm gonna fade, I'm gonna put it towards the front. I'm gonna kind of put my shoulders over here and kind of open it up and swing and swing this way. So you're saying, let's lose all that. We gotta just same swing, Now we're just gonna move and then open.
And if you train that as a skill of your setup, it's pretty doable, but we don't need to be like crazy athletes and feel like we're doing this to hook it.
Right. The other cool thing about like working on this, and this is a skill, is you learn about aim.
Yeah.
You learn about club face control. You learn about path,
Yeah.
and you gain some awareness of all these things by experimenting on the range with this.
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid to get dirty with the learning, and they think the goal is to hit good shots in the range. No, it's like to learn. And that's what I see that's so different about zero handicaps and 10s, is 10s are so bad adjusting to feedback of shots and understanding how to fix it when it goes left, right, thin, fat. They don't do that well. Zeros are really good at it.
Got it. Myth busted.
Nice.
So I've always heard you never work on mechanics on the golf course. You got to come to the range because I'm trying to fix my backswing and do this on the range, right?
Yeah.
Truth or myth?
You know what? I would have said differently when I started my career.
Okay.
But at this point, I think your best option is actually not do it at the range. Do it at home with really good video and learn how to do it on a practice swing and on a foam ball, and then you can start going to the real ball. And more people now understand, what is P55? Where does a club need to be?
Yep.
And especially as people start taking online lessons, they realize the value, and it's unbelievable, and I feel like my online students do better than my in-person students.
The golf ball ruins everything. As
does.
soon as you hit it, good
It
or
does.
bad, that means how well you did that golf swing.
Exactly. They can't go hit this golf ball until the practice swings and the foam balls look perfect.
Give us the 30-second 7-step framework pitch as fast as you can, the speed run of how to
Learn how to
practice.
do a pivot, because if you don't have a good pivot, you're building your whole swing in a house of cards, okay? Number 2 is learn how to do a freezer from the top, making a really good downswing with a lot of speed. Because if you can get a good sequence from there, you learn how to do the downswing first, because we hit the ball with the downswing, that matters more. The third step is gonna be a smoothie, which is where you go slow. You go slow enough to make it look perfect, and then attach your downswing. Because if you can do the smoothie pretty fast and look really good, now you're starting to combine that backswing with a really functional downswing. Next, you take it to the foam ball. You do the exact same thing, freezer, smoothie, then real ball, freezer, smoothie, 7 steps, and the swing will look awesome.
Love it. This is huge. If you want to actually change your golf swing, you have to do this. You have to get rid of the golf ball and go through this process. And yeah, no more mechanics on the range. We're going to do it at home. Yeah. Myth. All right, Luke, every time I practice on a perfect setup, look at where the ball's in my stance, perfect line, I align directly, and then it's good practice if I do all those things.
Yeah. I think setup's really overrated.
Okay.
Particularly with short game. You
Okay.
need to be an athlete and be able to hit balls in different ways. Like, who are the best athletes that pick up the game and pick it up fast? Who are they? Hockey players are very good.
We know that here in Minnesota.
Because they can hit it from here, here, here. And so like when I train junior golf, like I do this drill where I'll have them set up, and we call it the 7-ball drill. I think we even did this one time, Cordy, but I like to remind people, like, I should be able to stand right here and I should be able to hit all these balls, even if they're not great shots. I'm building a lot of hand-eye as I do this drill.
Wow.
And somebody who does this sort of drill, these are really tight. But you get the
made
idea.
a challenge there. You've got to move this around, right?
You got to be able to hit different shots.
Yeah, we're doing all this different stuff. Okay, how would you define the skill? What do we call the skill of this?
So what we're trying to do is be able to hit the ball solid in center contact, right? Using a small club head is one way to do it, but just adding a lot of variability. If you imagine how your kids, 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds, how do they want to train? They want to do all the crazy shots wide. That's how our brains are wired to learn.
Yep.
And by pushing the envelope of kind of that environment, we actually learn faster. But we don't think we're doing as well because we don't hit it as solid. So adults think, oh, I'm learning if I hit it solid.
Yep.
Kids just want to go explore their environment and get better.
Yep. I think that's a myth. I'll piggyback on this. Another myth is that learning comes from mistakes and making errors, right? We all think learning comes from when I hit it pure, that I've learned something. It's actually not.
Exactly.
It's the opposite of that.
And you can start with any ball you want.
And I don't move my feet.
No.
Okay. Okay. I hit it solid.
Yep. That's okay. One of them just got really hard now. Way back there.
Okay. Sorry, interlocking for your turf. I will fix my divots, I promise. Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. It's getting really hard. You're going to have to go between your legs. There you go. Yes.
Oh, this is hard.
It's really hard.
That's really hard.
You know how, like, in golf, our goal is, like, hit the ball relatively straight, hit the same shot, right? So he does this with volleyball players, and it's a really good example of In volleyball, you want to hit the ball, and you want the ball to come up with no spin, because it's a knuckleball.
Okay.
All right, so he taught people to do it with lots of side spin.
Okay.
And he had one group just do knuckleballs all the time. Well, the people that learned side spin were actually better at no spin too. So we broadened the whole skill base, and we do shots with different setups where you're aiming way right, way left, ball forward, ball back. Especially when you're young and developing talent, it's really helpful long term.
I love it. I like, you know, good practice is when you go do it again. I want to do that again because I feel like I sucked and I can do better next time. That actually is good practice. So try it out. Try, instead of just hate commenting down below, maybe go try it. How about that? All right, Luke, so when I'm practicing, I'm going to make sure I go through my full routine exactly like I would on the golf course. Truth or myth?
Total myth.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's say you were training for professional ping pong.
Okay.
And you got to hit one ping pong ball every minute because you got to go through your full routine and a ball machine's feeding you.
Okay.
Okay. How many balls would you hit? Not very many?
Not very many.
Right? What if it's coming every half second?
You'd hit a lot.
And how good are you going to get with your contact?
Probably better because I got to react fast and I got to just figure it out as I go. Right?
What do you notice when your 5-year-old practices? How do they practice?
We're hitting. We're going.
Why?
We're moving. I don't. They got to keep going. They can't sit.
You know what? The funny thing is our machinery is developed to learn fast, and 5-year-olds do it well.
Okay.
So let's say you're one of those golfers where you flush it every time, and your deal is like mental, or you can't take it to the course.
Okay.
Then you should do a lot of deliberate practice to make it feel more like that.
Yep.
Okay. But let's say you actually mishit it a lot,
Yep.
and you don't control the face very well. You should probably switch targets a lot and practice a lot faster as a proportion of your practice.
So,
all right, so what we're going to do is
practice
we're going to switch. I'm going to put them in a line, so it's a little bit of a rapid fire drill here, but I'm going to have you switch targets. And you know, if you look out here, we have 2 flags, but I'm going to throw. I want you to actually try to land one in the bucket.
Okay.
Too. So we got left flag, right flag, bucket, and then hit one on this manhole cover too.
Okay.
That way we're switching up our targets a lot.
Okay.
And you're just going to go down the line, and you got to have a ball in the air every 8 seconds.
Okay, so I'm just gonna hit and go.
Yeah,
this
no
is
practice
weird.
swing.
This is weird.
See the target, hit the shot.
All right, bucket. Okay.
No, you're doing great.
All right, manhole cover.
Good.
God.
Okay, now we're gonna do it again, and now I want you to go high shot, low shot, high shot, low shot as you're doing the same drill.
Okay. Okay, low shot to the bucket. All right, high shot to that one. Low shot to the manhole cover. Go ahead.
That was pretty good.
That was good. Wow, manhole cover.
The first thing would be, is your performance as good going that fast? Probably not.
Yeah.
But there's a trade-off of reps. So you're getting so many more reps, you're gonna hit so many more shots, and even if you're maybe 80 to 90% successful, or even 50%, you're learning more. Well, if you wanna get in on this research, RIP research, we got about 15 people that are gonna help collect research. It's a volunteer, but you can be part of a really cool study. We're gonna investigate this.
God, I love it. What a fun one.
Yeah.
Myth busted, maybe, I think?
Maybe.
I don't, maybe. How's that? All right, so in chipping, I either gotta decide, am I going to be steep with my chips, or am I going to be more shallow? How's that? Did I do shallow?
That was your best one.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I got to choose one of those of what like methodology I want to go down.
You can do both. Even if we are steep, is it okay to hit the ground a little before the ball sometimes? What does the ping data tell you?
Yeah,
you were out there talking
so
to those
when
guys.
you hit the ground obviously bounces the club back up. So sometimes the attack angle that we read on a launch monitor is changed from the ground, push it back up. So a 13 down could go to a 0 based on if you hit it fat, which I think it was 87% of people or 87% of shots are hit behind the ball. Like they're not hitting
crazy
the ball
high
first,
percentage.
Right? Yeah.
And particularly if you're on a down grain bent,
Yeah.
it's much better to hit behind it because frankly, if you do, it'll still work. Big takeaway is to know your lie and have different shots. Like if you want to hit down on it and you've got more attack angle and you've got an open face, that's probably going to be better out of kind of an into grain lie where you're trying to hit ball first.
Yep.
And then there's times where it's pretty fluffy and you want height, then you want to feel like you're kind of sweeping up on it, much higher attack angle.
Yep. Don't choose one.
Yeah.
Try both and then choose situationally which one are you going to use.
Just like most things, don't be black and white. Have them all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Man. There it is. You lifted
Better.
your head, Luke.
I sure did.
I know you did it.
I topped the ball, therefore I must have lifted my head, right?
Truth or myth?
Total myth. Watch, I'm gonna lift my head, I'm gonna early extend. and I flushed it.
You did fine.
You can do a lot of things and hit it solid.
Yep.
It's like, it doesn't need to be just because I lift my head, I'm gonna top it every time.
Myth.
Yeah.
I have this bucket of balls and I'm just gonna groove my swing here just to one target.
Yeah.
Truth or myth?
How often do you hit the exact same shot on the golf course?
Not often.
Unless it's OB, you're not doing it.
Okay.
So if you're doing block practice like that, where you're working on mechanics and you're doing some hard skill, have video set up, and then it's okay to hit to one target. But if you're getting ready for a tournament or actually like practical golf, switch targets every time, make it weird, because the more you challenge yourself in practice, the more adaptable and transferable the skill will be.
Got it. Myth busted. All right, Luke, so I got my practice station set up here, got my alignment sticks perfectly set up, and this is the way that I should practice, is alignment sticks, you know, as much as possible to make sure my fundamentals are right. Truth or myth?
It's overrated.
Don't do this to me, Luke.
It's overrated.
It's not. Everybody
Yeah.
needs alignment sticks.
You know what? You have to have good aim, but alignment can be variable
Okay.
based on you. And so if you were to practice without alignment rods all the time,
Yep.
and you basically switched targets and you played for money against other people and competed, do you
Okay.
think you would learn how to aim your golf ball?
I'd probably have to figure it out,
Yeah.
yes.
So if we take you to a deserted island
Okay.
and you have an unlimited supply of golf balls,
Okay.
and your task every day is to hit good shots out of this bucket of golf balls, and you get rewards by landing it on a target, and you're giving no instructions except for maybe a decent golf grip.
Okay.
And you had this boring spot on this island where all you get to do is hit balls and you get rewards, how much do you think you'd practice?
A lot. All the
A
time.
lot, yeah.
Constantly.
And how good would you get at aiming?
Really good.
How good would your alignment be?
Oh,
nobody
how good
ever
my
told
alignment
you.
be? I don't know how good it would be.
I
It'd be
bet-
functional.
I bet you'd have people aiming like this
Yeah.
and like this, because they don't have sticks.
Right.
They don't even know how to throw them down.
They just want to get the ball over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to go like LeBron James. Do you see his three-pointers? It's like this. And you get guys like this. Do you think to hit a good jump shot, you have to have your feet in the same spot?
No,
See
probably
a
not.
huge variance.
Yeah.
So we're kind of blinded into thinking like square really matters.
Yep.
It's just a standard.
Yep. Okay, but what about like the idea of, okay, if I'm moving the ball position and my aim around, then I got to change my swing every time of my low point and like all that stuff.
Yeah, I think especially if you're playing a lot of tournament golf, you probably want a pretty consistent ball position. But the truth is having your feet aimed at the target is not as important as having your dispersion pattern centered.
Got it.
You got to hit the ball at your
Define
target.
that for us quick.
Think about Freddie Couples aiming left, or some good players aiming way over to the right, like Victor Hovland. Again, they can hit it at the target. The dispersion pattern works, but their biomechanics are such that they don't have to have their feet square.
Got it.
So what you should do is practice different targets, and the outcome of that is that you will get good at aim. And then if you want to have a standard home base to go back to, you can,
Yep.
but the truth is it's probably overrated.
So maybe what people should do is get some balls, aim at a target, don't use any sticks, and see what allows you to hit the most balls closest to your target.
Yeah.
And then put sticks down and see where you were aimed, potentially.
And if you want to deep dive on why alignment might change, you definitely could. Like if you want to get the low point more forward, play with a more open stance, tilt your chest more here, right?
Yeah.
So there's things you could change in your swing, but your alignment shouldn't be just like, it doesn't need to be cookie cutter for everybody square.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, there's another one.
Another one.
Okay, if I want to work the golf ball, I need a blade. Maybe not butter blades all
Yeah.
throughout the set, but I need a
Right.
blade versus a cavity back like you got there.
Yeah.
Truth or myth?
It's mostly myth.
Okay.
Okay, there's a tiny bit of truth to it,
Okay.
but it's so small you shouldn't consider it.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to lean the face forward like this, you'd hit the ball a little higher in the face, and your vertical gear effect would basically like reduce your spin more on a blade by a tiny margin.
Okay.
Okay. But from a practical standpoint, path and face are going to be the overwhelming thing, and you're not going to intentionally mishit the club very often. So yes, when you hit on the toe, they hook a little more. When you hit the heel, they fade a little more. But the truth is, any center strike, regardless of how big the club head is, are pretty much the same sort of dispersion pattern. One thing we do know is that the smaller club head will actually have, because of the center mass is farther away from the shaft, the axis rotation
Yep.
is easier.
Yep.
So smaller clubs are easier to go left. Bigger clubs actually would reduce that. So small factor, generally mostly BS.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter about workability.
It's a myth. There are some intricacies though to
Yes.
think about. All right, on the backswing, lead arm has to be straight, right?
No,
No.
doesn't matter that much.
Okay.
There's a lot of variability out there. Who are some of the straightest hitters on tour ever? Some guys bend their left arm a lot. Victor Hovland bends it a lot. Truth is, you just don't want to have it impact your sequence too much. So if you're one of those golfers where you're wrapping around your neck, could be a problem if you're starting to fire with the arms first. There's way too many older golfers that create some power with the bent left arm, and they're trying to change it, when in fact they should be working on ball flight stuff.
Got it. That's a myth. Bend that lead arm.
Doesn't matter much.
So I got to hold leg through here, right? More leg, the better, because leg means power.
Yeah. The truth is, if your sequence is good and your club is reasonably shallow, it's really hard to have a cast in your swing.
Okay.
So understand how to do a pivot, and then understand that if the club is here and you can pivot well from here, you'll have a really good shaft length. There are some people where their mobility with the lower body is so poor that one way they can do that is maybe get that elbow drop in and it feels like they're pulling the handle, but that's a pretty rare lesson because I can usually get the sequence to do the work.
Got it. So myth, because work on your sequence, not holding the leg.
Yeah.
Got it. If I want to work on my distance control, Luke, I'm going to do the ladder drill here. I got to learn how to land the ball in different corridors to control speed. Yeah?
I think it's not a terrible drill, but there's better drills. One is when you're doing the ladder, you're kind of going the same direction all the time.
Yep.
And so there's not a whole lot of variability with slope. Number two is sequentially, it's not as good as doing random. Number three, it's not ecological, meaning you're not putting at holes.
Okay.
And so we should be as ecological as we possibly can. And I'd much rather have you aim at different holes and switch targets going up and down hills. So then can you gamify that? Can you aim at this hole and say, well, from this range, you want to get it past the hole, because anything within about 10, 15 feet, let's try to get it past the hole.
Okay.
No more than a club length by would be a good goal. And then as you get out to the farther ones, just get it within 10%. If you got a 40 footer within 4 feet, it'd be good.
Okay.
And from there, you could easily gamify the thing.
Right.
Simple game would be if you get it within that 10%, we call it a birdie.
Okay.
If it's within 20%, we call it a par. More than 20% is a bogey. And you go until you get to 5 under, 5 over.
This is a level up, not a myth, right? I think leg putting is a skill that everybody is deficient in. I would say most people are. Gosh, what a great game. All right, Luke, the clock drill has to be a great way to work on my short putting, right?
It's not terrible, but you can make it better.
Okay.
So let's make it better. So first of all, as you're doing this, you see how close the balls are together? Yeah. The putts are pretty similar.
Yep.
Okay, so I did a study with 6-year-olds.
Okay.
And I can tell you when 6-year-olds putt, if you move them around uphill, downhill, side hill, and change distance, they will learn much faster. So we're trying to basically like expedite how quickly you get good at putting. Okay. And we need to make every putt feel really different. You know how a lot of instructors will actually start looking at your putting stroke? Yeah. I used to start people on the putting stroke, and then I found when I got them on some slope and changed the distance and went uphill, downhill, side hill, they were terrible at speed. Okay. Okay. So now I never start putting that way. I get to the most sloped hole on the green, and we go around and we do this drill that's kind of a clock drill, but it's a little different. Okay. So we're gonna do one club length away, and we're gonna rotate 100 degrees, okay? Okay. And then we're gonna rotate 100 degrees and go 3 club lengths. There you go. Okay. And then you're gonna go to this one, which is 2 club lengths. Yeah. There you go. This one's 3.
So lots of different slopes.
Lots of different slopes.
Uphill, downhill, side. Different lengths.
And now we're gonna talk about the scoring. Okay. So you get a point if you make it. Okay. And you don't lose a point if your speed is good. So inside of this range, you have to get it to the hole. So nothing short. Okay. If you're short, you lose a point. Got it. So the game is the constraint to teach you speed. Okay. And so a good putter will not lose any points by having bad speed. Yep. And as a result, you get better at kind of doing uphill, downhill, side hill, short, medium, long. Yep. You're doing a lot of variability with it. And so I would typically go 20 putts at a hole. Okay. And then you go find another hole, do another hole. And if you track it every day, you ever hear of the testing effect? Like if you go test this, and you are trying really hard to get better at this drill, and you just are trying to score better and get rid of those misses in terms of long or short, your putting's gonna get so much better. Love it.
Is there a percent of slope? Do we want to stay on a relatively flat one, or are you looking for those 3% slopes of like, let's get some?
Most golfers are horrible on a lot of slope. Okay. So let's go target that first, because frankly, the flat 4-footers and 8-footers are not the reason you're bad at putting.
That's true.
It's mostly because you 3-putt from 13 feet downhill on a real slope putt. Yeah. And you don't really give it good speed, so you don't even make as many as you should.
Got it. All right. It's neither a myth nor a truth. It's a drill upgrade.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's a power washer as well. I don't know if you guys know that,
Yeah,
but
how's
that's
that
how
gonna go?
that's how they power wash vehicles right there. Neither myth nor truth.